Hey, thanks for joining the fun. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to show you exactly how I get started adding gamification to mobile apps. I've done this in a lot of different ways, but we're going to do it simple and easy. Notice how I'm not behind the computer, laptop, or anything. I'm simply going to do something with a pencil and a piece of paper. Without further ado, let's get started. Thanks for joining the fun. So I have a pencil, piece of paper. On this piece of paper, you'll see outlines of the iOS device. That's what I'm going to be sketching for. So this is going to help me lay out content relative to that device and other mobile experiences as we see fit. I'm going to make sure that I have 3 different views, and I'm going to start with the first. The first one I'm going to do is the leaderboard view. Now, this is kind of the basis that I'm going to use this for. Again, we're applying gamification elements here. Now, we referenced our goals. We've also referenced different UIs, and now we can jump right in understanding the techniques that we're going to apply as well as our screens. So the first one is the leaderboard view. We said we were going to do a large hero image here. So essentially, I'm just drawing. This is symbolic for my image. I'm going to do product of the week. All right, maybe I can make this as a banner ad and it scrolls back and forth. But essentially, I want to create a list view of certain products. That way I can reference them. So here we'll do, let's say, an image. I'm going to do a product type. Let's say this is flower. And this could be the title of that particular product. We'll also do a category. Let's just say, let's write a line here for now. And then we'll do a call to action. Let's see, view. Now again, we want to look at votes for this product. So let's say over here is the number of votes. So this would be essentially one list item for the products we're looking at. And then we can duplicate that. So again, this is quick because I'm sketching it. I can erase as I go. I can change as I see fit. This is an editable. Maybe we'll add a tag here and then the same call to action. Say view. Now again, this allows me to get through my ideas super fast, super quick, without being bogged down by editing or changing colors or layers or anything like that. So the same thing here. Maybe this is like a vape pen, a cartridge for that matter. Just gonna have some fun. Now notice how I'm not being prescriptive for every single element. I kind of have an idea of what's going on here, and like the others, number of volts. Okay, so let's say this was my first UI. I can actually reference data points here where I know these are images. This is maybe the title of the product, category, call to action, and then the number of votes. So in my leaderboard view, I can see volume. I can see what type of product, the votes associated to it, and I have a call to action that could take me to more information. So let's say this is that leaderboard view. And I usually add a few notes here, but just so we move right along, let's say if I tap on view, it's going to show me more, maybe a detailed view of that product. So let's make this the detailed view. Detailed product view. Okay. So in this particular view, here's what I want to do. I want to understand what the product looks like, maybe some information there. But since we're adding these engagement techniques, we want to look for more information to help us identify why it's being voted. So maybe reviews here. And in those reviews, you can see more information. So very similar to before, we're going to make this a hero image. This will be of the product. And since we've tapped here to go here, we're going to make sure that we can get back. So just for the sake of it, we add a back arrow. And then let's say we add the title again. Let's say this is flower. And then we add a category. And then again, what number of votes? So almost very similar to this gamified version. This leaderboard version, but we're going to add something new, which is reviews of this particular product. The reason being is because the reviews are the engagement for the product. And this is why it's getting so many votes. So let's say this is a separate section. And like most reviews, let's say we have an avatar of the user. Let's say name. And then let's say we have a date for that particular review. And then let's say we have copy, some information around that review, maybe some preview text, and then a link to maybe tap to see more. So I can read more along this review. So just like that, we created a list view for reviews. We can make a few more. And you'll see this process kind of move right along. So another avatar, name, we're just duplicating the exact same thing that we've added here. Quick, easy, and it gives us reference to what we're doing. Now, essentially, I can make this like a scroll view. It's a little too tight, but I can change that. So I'm going to separate that section. And this will be a scroll view. So as I'm scrolling, I can see more reviews surface accordingly. And they'll all be referenced this product. But now that we're here, let's say from these reviews, we had the idea of, hey, let's purchase it. These reviews are so good. There's so many. I want to actually purchase it. So we're actually going to add a sort of sticky call to action. It's just, again, copy can change. I'm being playful, just writing things as I see fit. So I'm going to hatch this so that I can determine and distinguish that it is a button. It's something separate from what's going on up here in these list views. Okay. Now we have something to reference. We have our leaderboard view here. We also have the detail view, which comes from us tapping to view more. And then we have a call to action to purchase this. So something simple, something straightforward. I can get back and forth. And here would be an area in the application where I'm able to go to this section to view this sort of area. And then this gets me to and from this view. And now the last view I want to set up is how do we actually create the votes for these things? Let's do a voting view. So similar to before, we're gonna make some product images, but I'm gonna make sure this is identified as product voting. And forgive my writing. Chicken scratch, right? So the image, and then let's say I have my flower. This is just the title again, category. And then let's say maybe the condition that I've used it for. So maybe I used it for pain. Now here, similar to what we've referenced in our UIs, we want to create this sort of sequential step of questioning. Let's say there are a couple of different questions we're going to use to determine how we vote. So let's say in section 1, all right, I'm going to make sure this is a section. And then let's say the question is, what did you use it for? Then the user can tap, and maybe there's a drop down that they can kind of select. And that drop down, select any indicators there. So then I have 1, 2, let's say this is the first question, all right? And then you have 2, then you have 3. So any user could tap through those different questions, or once they select that, it can go to the next accordingly. If I have more room, I'll add sort of like this text box where, add more. If you wanted to actually write up a full review, all right? So, and you can add copy here. And then let's say the call to action is to submit, okay? But essentially this is a quick and dirty, let's say this is product voting. It's a quick, dirty way to get a direction for gamification, for adding different types of engagement to your mobile app. Now, again, we didn't just do this out of air. We referenced some of the goals that we were using for adding gamification. We looked and reviewed other UI patterns, products, and the like. Then we applied that technique, and then we just started to sketch how that works for our brand, for our mission, and the product overall. So there you have it. This is, again, a rough version of how to do this, but it's quick. I'm not fussing with the computer. I'm not worried about space or anything. And you can imagine if I have a stack of papers and I'm just going through idea dumping, this would be very, very helpful and speed the process along and be well on your way to adding gamification to your mobile app. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and thumbs up to you. Go check out the other video, and best of luck. See you in the next one.